Hey YouTube, how you doing? Thanks for coming back to my channel, checking back in on me. Uh, Look at, hey, got brand new microphones. Um, Always trying to improve my content, trying to get better. I think what you'll see is as the videos keep going forward and I get a little more experience, I think I can get better at doing this. So thanks for coming back by my channel. Today's video is going to be talking about ball pythons that I have added to my collection over the last couple of years since the last time I was uploading videos. So I just want to get you guys all up to speed on what genes I have and what animals I've added since my last group of videos, and hopefully we'll stay consistent and you'll see these animals kind of grow up and how I'm gonna use them in my collection. So hey, stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate any time that you give to my videos. Appreciate you. I'll see you at the end or in the middle for a get to know coach. See you in a little bit. All right. This is the first animal I want to share with you today. Kind of got a funky dorsal, doesn't it? This is a male. He's going to try to run now. This is a male acid. So let me show you a little trick. We get him running like this. So what we'll do is, he's gonna shoot out of there like he gonna do something. Watch. So this is his hide. We're just gonna let him go in his hide. So this is the hide from his cage. He's familiar with it. And so now I can put him into there and let him sit in there, let him calm down, let him get all settled in. And then you just take that off, and we got a calm down ball python. So this is acid, single gene male acid. And what I'm using here is I'm using the bottom of my cat carrier. This is a carrier that I have, a pet carrier that I have. And I wanted to try to shoot on just a flat black box. And before I go buy one, I wanted to make sure that it was going to work the way I thought it would. I'm liking the picture. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think, if this works better than having the little sheet or background fabric on a clear tote. This I think works better for me. This is single gene. A male acid. He's het for nothing. It's like I told you guys, I usually buy and pick up my animals single gene, 2 genes. I want to make the combos. I want to make my own combos. So this is acid. And it's true what they say about acid and about different genes. I've noticed that this gene is a little nervous, a little scared, really hissy, bitey. But that's what, comes with the gene. Enchi's a lot like that too. Not as bad as acid, but acid is a pretty nervous, striky, bitey, in defense type genetic. So there you go. Single gene. Let's get his head back over here. We'll see that one more time. He's talking to me. Single gene acid. That's the acid gene. He's being put right now to the lesser cine leopard female. I want to make leopard acid combos. For male. This is another male I picked up. And I picked up this male because I have a lot of fire. And I really love working with the allelic combinations. Your allelic combinations like cinnamon and enchi and cinnamon and HRA and that whole 8-ball complex. I really like playing in that complex. But because I have so much fire, and I like allelic combos and what they do, I figured, you know what, let's pick up a little bit of vanilla. So here, and he's talking to me too, this, oh, he's gonna now shoot out, okay? So remember the trick I showed you, right? So now all we gotta do is take his hide from his tub. You know, you can't just do this with any hide. You gotta use their hide. Right, and look, he could go right under there. Recognizes it as his hide. That's his thing that he's used to. So he's gonna get under there, and he'll relax. And then we'll take another look at him. So this is pastel vanilla, 100% het pied. He's a beautiful snake, really pretty snake for just a 2-gene animal. So pastel vanilla, I picked up this male. I also picked up a vanilla female. Wait until you get to see her. So there you go, pastel vanilla, het pied. Okay, so here's the vanilla female I picked up, and this girl's loaded. Jeremy Kloss, Freaks of Nature, produced this animal. Jeremy and I, she was soaking in her water. She was in her water bowl, having a little soak. So I've disturbed her soak. But this girl is loaded. This girl is vanilla, female vanilla. And this girl is pastel, orange dream, super inchy, vanilla. And we know she's vanilla because one of the parents that produced her was a super vanilla. So everything in the clutch has to be vanilla. So pastel, orange dream, super inchy, vanilla. And this will be really fun to put some HRA stuff to. Yeah, HRA. So this is a male visual hypo. But I want to do the double recessive stuff too, right? And I can make double hets. I can do that. But here I did try to jump my project ahead a little bit. My favorite double recessive are hypo clowns. I've wanted hypo clowns since, shoot, years and years ago in this hobby. This is a male hypo, visual hypo, het clown, right? So here's a guy that I can put to a visual clown, and everything that comes out of that is going to be a double het. So the other thing I can do with him is I can put him to a visual hypo, and everything comes out hypo, and half the babies will be het clown. Now I got a shed test. So this him, I think, is really pretty snake. I love the hypo gene. So just a single gene, visual hypo, het clown male. Okay, my next pickup. This was a pickup I won the last snake and this snake in an auction. And this snake is a female, and she's a double het. And again, I got her on a Facebook auction. I won the 2 of them as a pair. The last male that I just showed you, the hypo het clown, well, this is single gene spot nose female, double het hypo clown. So I can put the hypo to her to try to go the short route, or again, I can use her in hypo projects. I can use her in clown projects, and then she's a great crossover to get me quickly into the double visual recessive of hypo clowns. Pretty snake. I really like the spot nose gene. This ends up being my second spot nose female in the collection. I have pastel spot nose, and I have this single gene spot nose double het hypo clown. So that's her. Pretty snake. I like the spot nose gene. I slept on spot nose too for the longest time. I have a spot nose clutch that should be laid any day now. All right, and this week's Get to Know Coach, I thought I'd just kind of share with you, where I see myself in this hobby, and that's exactly what it is to me, a hobby. It's always, this whole ball python thing has always been a hobby to me. I've been doing this for 13 years, and I kind of feel like I'm kind of probably the reason why I wanted to come out with my own YouTube channel, is I kind of really feel like the true ball python breeder, hobbyist breeder, is being lost in the hobby these days. I feel like most of your larger ball python YouTube channels, they're not so much into showing animals, more than they're into talking about how it is and what it is to be a ball python breeding business, and what decisions to make and what strategy to use. And that's all fine and great, but I believe, and maybe I'll be wrong because maybe my videos just won't get watched and they won't get, looked at. So maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that there's a whole bunch of ball python breeders out there that are hobbyist breeders. And I don't know, maybe you can comment in the comments here and tell me how you feel. I'm not trying to breed to build inventory, to fill a table, to go and vendor at a reptile show. I may never ever do that, and that's not what I got into this for. I got into this to breed and build my own collection of snakes and create the snakes that I want to create, the snakes that I want to take care of, the snakes that I want to have in my collection. And then, I only do 4 to 6 clutches a year when I'm even, pairing and breeding ball pythons. So I'm looking at anywhere from 25 to 45 babies a year, and up to now I've been keeping anywhere from 10 to 15 of those babies every year. So I really don't have a lot of available animals ever. I always just have maybe a handful of animals, and like I said in videos before, I've given away more than I've sold. I've given away more ball pythons than I've sold, and I give them to kids. I've worked in the schools and coached for a long time and been around kids for a long time. I've given a lot of snakes to kids. And I've given a lot of snakes to adults. And every time I get somebody who's getting into this hobby and thinks they want to breed, I'm always, trying to get them an extra animal in a deal that we're doing, or, give them one of the snakes they were looking at buying. I just remember what it's like to start in this hobby, and what it was like to try to get somebody. When I started 13 years ago, people didn't share information. I had to go in my own snake room and figure out that Enchi and Cinnamon were allelic. Nobody told me that. And then even when I went out on the limb and said, this is what I think, none of the bigger breeders that I know knew what I was saying was true, wanted to back it up and say that what I was saying was correct. And so I just want you to kind of know where I'm at in this and what I'm hoping to accomplish. I'm not in breeding ball pythons to make money. I'm in this hobby to find other folks that are like-minded, think like I do, like what I do, and like to share the things that we do, the animals that we breed. and just have like a positive type community. I think a lot of times the Facebook communities can just be, so toxic. And so part of my thing and part of my feeling and wanting to do this and my motivation to do this is to kind of create my own community. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know where I see myself in this hobby as just a pure hobbyist. I have a larger collection, I think, for like a hobbyist person in this game. But I think, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm using these videos to put myself out there and see if I can find a lot more people that are into this as a hobby and just trying to make really cool snakes and make their own type of stuff in their own collection. So, I will always be proud to say that my collection is built. It wasn't bought. I'm building my collection. So thanks for your time. Get you guys back to some animals and enjoy the rest of the video. This little girl's very nervous. She's one of the most nervous ball pythons I've ever owned. So this girl that I picked up, really pretty clown. Again, I got her on a Facebook auction. A little tip for you guys on the Facebook auction or on the Morph Market auctions. What I do when I look at the auctions around the weekends. That's when most of the people who have auctions are gonna post them. Then what I do is I filter by my state, so I see what's in my state that people have on auction. Then I go and I'm not gonna let something leave my state that I can use here. You'd be amazed at what I paid for this animal. I mean, she was almost free. I mean, literally. I had to drive across Phoenix to pick her up, but she cost next to nothing. This is a visual clown, obviously, really pretty little clown. And when I won this animal on auction, I was purchasing it as a male. It was listed as a male. And this is male red stripe clown, 66% pause het hypo. So I have her shed, and we're going to have her shed tested to see if she is actually het hypo. Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a visual clown that is a visual female clown that's het hypo. To work with that other group of animals that I just showed you. I had purchased this animal first as a male, and the reason I had bought it is because I've shown you my red stripe fire, 66% het. Well, I was picking him up with the hope that I would be able to produce with him and my female super red stripe clowns with fire. But this animal ended up being a female. So I was offered my money back. I was offered another animal that he had. He had a male red stripe clown that was also pause het hypo. But he wasn't as nice as her. So I stuck with my purchase. And I brought in the female. So was supposed to be a male. Now it's a female, a little bit younger female. I've got to grow up, but I'm excited about this snake because I got a red stripe. I got the female red stripe fire. If you remember, I'm pairing her with a visual clown. So we're going to prove out her het one way or another right now. The other nice thing about it is everything that comes out of there will be het clown. So I could keep a red stripe from that, even if she doesn't prove het, I can keep a male from this clutch to use with her. Because that animal will be 100% het clown. So I'm either going to produce red stripe fire clown in this clutch, or I'm going to produce red stripe fires het clowns. And I know they're het clowns because Daddy's a visual. So that's her. Red striped clown, paws head hypo. We're going to have her shed tested. All right, next animal. Like I told you, I have a lot of fire in my collection. I love the Inchy Fire combo. Way back in the day, I bought my very first Inchy Fire combo on an auction site called Reptile Ring. Reptile Ring was an auction site that was run by Mike Wilbanks. I've made beautiful animals. I love Inchy and Fire together. So what is this animal? This is a female. Another female pickup. This is Inchy Fire Visual Desert Ghost. She's just sitting nice. I want her just to stay there. And so I picked her up again off of another Morph market auction. I was looking for a visual female desert ghost. I have a visual male. My visual male, like I told you, he's going to that weird, unique female pastel lesser cine leopard thing that, you know, kind of just is like kind of an enigma. I've never seen anything like it. So I put the desert ghost to her. So all those babies are going to come out 100% het desert ghost. Well, I'm trying to get her a boyfriend out of that clutch. So that's how we're going to start to make our visual desert ghosts. And she'll be sitting here with Inchy and Fire. So anything I get out of there that's het desert ghost will have Inchy and Fire on this side. And I want to make sure that I get pastel, cine, lesser, and leopard all in a het desert ghost form out of this. That's the goal with that clutch. But here she is. Isn't she beautiful? That is just a beautiful snake. And see, a lot of times in these ball pythons, guys, less is more. You know, sometimes we put so many damn genes in these snakes, it just like washes everything away, or, you know, and they turn into this dark mass of jumble when they're adults. I want to make ball pythons that are pretty animals as adults. And this girl's going to help me do that. I really can see down the road in my collection that majority of it will be visual desert ghost. Well, that's her. Very happy with her. Really excited to have her in the collection. All right, back to the male side. Very excited about this little male that again, this is a Morph market win on the auction. This is a little male. This came from a friend of mine, a breeder that's been in the game for quite a while too. His name is Josh Jensen of J Royals. And if that name sounds familiar to you, it should sound familiar to you because he's the founder of the acid gene. And no, I didn't get my male acid from him. I got my 10,000 scales out of California is where I got my male acid from. But when I was first starting off in this, my first couple years in, Josh and I were in a Facebook group together. And so we used to have conversations on Instant Messenger because he was just launching the acid gene. And we were trying to think of name for combos, for acid combos. So like we come up with acid reflux and battery acid and all these different combo names. And whenever I would get a new one, or he would get a new one, he would message it to me to see what I thought, and I would message it to him to see what he would think. So I picked this little boy up from Josh, and I think the world of Josh Jensen. I mean, how to do ball pythons, it's, you emulate guys like Josh Jensen. He does great work, and this is one of his productions. I am so excited to have this animal. And because Josh is such a good friend, I picked this animal up where I normally wouldn't pick up from other breeders combos like this. And so this is like probably one of the only combo, more than like a pastel spot nose or So this is probably the most loaded animal I've ever purchased. And so what this animal is, this is Inchy Krypton. And it's possibly OD and fire. I think it's at least one or the other, if not both. He's also 100% het for Desert Ghost. This will be the way that I get Desert Ghost into my clown stuff, right? Because Krypton is an allelic reaction. It's a visual allelic reaction, kind of like candy and albino, right? When you put a het candy to a het albino and the hets meet in one snake, you get a snake that looks a lot like an albino or a candy. So this is how this works. So when you put clown, het clown, and het cryptic together in one snake, you get a visual that we call a krypton. And look at that head, and look at those eye stripes. I don't even want to touch him because he's sitting so nice. He's a pretty nervous snake too, but they're pretty all nervous when they're babies. But this guy, took me a minute to get him to take frozen thawed too. He was stubborn. And now I just drop feed him. If you guys ever trying to feed ball pythons and they don't physically take a frozen thawed off the tongs, it could be the tongs. So I have every animal in here. I've got almost 100 ball pythons in this room, and they all eat frozen thawed. And the way you switch them over is your will just has to be stronger than a ball python's will. Because he was strong-willed. He was not going to take frozen thawed. He was eating live, either large adult mice or live rat pups. Eating both of them. I could not get him to take a frozen thawed. And I tried and tried and tried. And finally what I did was I puppeted the mouse in front of him, got him tongue flicking. Once he got tongue flicking, I just leave the mouse and shut the tub. Come back 20 minutes later, the mouse is gone. But in his last feeding, I just took a little bit of extra time with him and just puppeted and make sure that tongue starts flicking, make sure that mind starts working. If the tongue don't start flicking, they ain't gonna take it. Live, frozen, whatever. So what you gotta do is you gotta get that tongue flicking. Once that tongue is flicking, the mind is working. And so then I just held it on the tongs, kind of really slow and gentle, kind of shook it a little bit. And he struck, and he's taken his first frozen thawed mouse off of tongs. I am so excited. Off we go. I love this snake. He is so pretty. It's a beautiful animal. Just like that in its own right. He's beautiful. But let's see what we can make with him, because I'm sure excited to have him in the collection. What a beautiful animal. All right, we're another male. Another male pickup. All right, so this male, I'm very excited about this animal. I'm very excited about this animal and the next animal I'm about to show you. This is a 2-gene animal. Look at that dorsal stripe, man. So let me tell you what this is. This is a male leopard cypress. I have wanted the cypress gene for so long. Look at her, boy, him. He ready to bite, boy. Him mouth is open and everything. He ready. So nervous. These babies, these cypress babies are really nervous. So let's just touch him on the nose and get him to settle down a little bit. So this is leopard cypress male. I picked him up from Jeremy Claus, Freaks of Nature. It's we work you know, if I produce anything Jeremy wants and I'm not holding it back, he gets it. If he produces anything that I want and he's not holding it back, I get it. So I went over there a couple weekends ago and I picked out a pair of animals that he had just produced in a clutch. And these are all, they're feeding really well. These animals. This guy, he won't take off the tongs. I drop feed him, but he's a very aggressive eater. He's a very good eater. Once he's got the rodent in his tub, he's automatic. He's eating it. So, really excited about this one. Red Stripe's going to go into this stuff. If you all haven't seen Red Stripe and Cypress together, you need to start looking at those combos. OMG, okay? OMG. I love Cypress Red Stripe stuff. So, I got Red Stripe. I'm starting to get Red Stripe into Clown. Cypress is really nice into Clown. And we're going to get Red Stripe Cypress Clowns going. And other Cypress combos. I just really like this gene. To me, Cypress, I call it, Cypress is Mojave on steroids. Now, it's not blue-eyed leucistic area, but single gene form looks a lot like Mojave, but they're very, very colorful Mojaves. And so, Cypress, leopard, Cypress, male. Okay. Last animal for this video. This is number 10, I believe, that we've looked at. This is the second half of the pair that I picked up from Jeremy Kloss at Freaks of Nature a couple weekends ago. And this is very similar to the last one we just looked at. This is again leopard and cypress, we believe, but we believe this is pastel leopard cypress. So, I don't know. We're not totally convinced that there's leopard in this, but based on the genes that are in the pairing, it's not just pastel cypress. There's something else in there, and let's see. It was a pastel inchy lesser leopard fire. Paz het pied. That's the father. I produced him. And the mother was a cypress het pied. And I think we may have made a visual pied, but we don't know. It's really neat looking. Jeremy made very, very cool looking. So this is het pied, or 66%, I guess, het pied, but also it is what we believe is pastel leopard cypress. Real excited about the cypress stuff. All right, that's it. I think we saw 10 animals there, added some new genes. Mostly excited, the Krypton. I really like playing with allelic relationships. That's why we added those vanilla animals, because they got a lot of fire, and I just thought, because I like allelic interactions so much, I thought, I've got so much fire, I should probably have some vanilla, and try to do some of that vanilla scream, vanilla cream type of combos. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. That should bring you up to speed on everything that I've added ball python wise. And now the next video I think we're going to do is, I think I'm going to show you the animals that I keep reptile wise that aren't ball pythons. So hopefully you'll come back and check that video out next week. I'm trying to get one out at least now once a week, now that I've caught you back up on my my archives basically. So thanks for stopping by. Again, like, share, subscribe to the video, leave any comments. I'd love to hear your opinions and what you think of what I'm doing over here. Hey, thanks for your time. I appreciate you coming by. See ya.